Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. It is I, God Emperor Jesse. That's my new name. It's don't worry about it. With me today is Tiana. You guys know Tiana. If you watched on Geeks and Gamers, one of our Common Sense panels, she was a guest with me that day too. Anyway, Tiana has never seen The Last Jedi. She has never seen any Star Wars movies.
I only saw one because they made us do a paper on it in high school.
Okay, was that the first one, probably? A New
Whatever.
Hope. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I am going to explain The Last Jedi to Tiana and just explain it to her. I'm going to try to be relatively impartial, and we'll just see what she thinks. And there'll be holes, there'll be gaps. I've only seen it the one time. I'm never going to see it again, so... yes, this is my contribution since I know the High Council's all watching it together tomorrow, and I was like, nope. So this is as close as I'm gonna get. All right, you ready?
Ready.
And Tiana, feel free to interject whenever, ask clarifying questions, whatever you want to do.
All right, I'm going to try to focus. Vine has ruined my attention span, so...
So, the basics, the setup that you need to know is you have the First Order, who are the bad guys, and the Resistance, who are the good guys. And at the end of the movie previously, the Resistance has just blown up the Star Killer base, which is the First Order's main base.
I'm sorry, there was like a brownout. So who's the bad guys?
The First Order's the bad guys, Resistance are the good guys. Right, First Order bad, Resistance good. Resistance just blew up Star Killer base, big victory against the bad guys. So we start the movie like immediately after the last one ended, and the good guys, the Resistance, are now fleeing from another huge ship from the First Order.
Okay.
So, basically, the issue here is that the Resistance, the First Order has learned how to track ships through hyperspace. So they made a jump, and the bad guy ship kept coming, and now the Resistance ship only has so much fuel left, and they have to get away. The First Order ship has plenty of fuel, and so this is basically it's a space chase, where if the Resistance goes at a certain speed, they can keep this up for like 18 hours, and the First Order can't gain on them at all. They're just staying at this nice pace through space, where they're just in the safety range, but they know eventually their fuel's going to run out and they're getting blown to hell. So that's sort of the main central plot of this movie.
I need props. Someone's going to have to show me physics.
Okay, so... First Order, bad guys. Resistance, good guys. Okay? Resistance only has so much fuel left. First Order's got plenty of fuel, but can't go any faster for reasons we don't know about. And so they're just going through space like this.
Okay.
And eventually this is going to run out of fuel, and then this is going to go boom.
Oh, okay. See, in the hallway, I thought you said they couldn't catch them ever, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
They can't catch them until their fuel runs out, even
Okay.
though they have a lot more fuel than them.
Okay, so what they gonna do?
Well, that's what they have to figure out. So that's sort of...
That was a whole movie?
This is the central plot of the movie.
Oh.
There's a couple subplots that we need to deal with. So...
Do they ever, is this a part 2 movie where we actually find out what they gonna do?
They'll
Or
find out...
do we end the movie knowing that they did something?
Yeah, they'll do something by the end of the movie.
Can we just skip to that part?
Do you want to know about the subplots?
Sure.
Okay, so subplot number 1. Rey, who is the female lead, who's a petite British brunette, like every female lead in Star Wars.
Is Thandie Newton in this?
No, she's in the solo one, but she's really, really cool for the first 20 minutes and they kill her. So Rey has to go find Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. He's like all powerful in the Force.
The original Luke? Or
Yeah,
some
the
new
original Luke.
All
So this is Mark Hamill, all oldified and stuff, who's disappeared onto an island, and she has to go find him and convince him to come help. Except that she goes to try to get him to train her, which was sort of the point. I don't know. Except that she's already way more powerful than any Jedi ever, and already really good at using the Force. So it's unclear as to why she needs his training anyway.
How does she get so powerful?
Nah, she just is.
She white?
Yep.
Alright, then.
So she gets to the island, and she's like, "Here, Luke, I found your old lightsaber," and he throws it over his shoulder. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm done." So she chases him around, trying to get him to teach her about the Force, and he like kind of doesn't, because he's jaded and bitter, and doesn't care anymore. And then she starts having...
Because Carrie Fisher died?
Huh?
because Carrie Fisher died?
Well, no, she's still alive in this movie,
Oh.
and he just doesn't care about his sister or his best friend who did die. Han
Slash
Solo
lover.
dies. Yeah. He doesn't care about her anymore. He just inexplicably doesn't give a shit about his sister anymore.
These hoes ain't loyal.
So, yeah. So she's chasing him around this island, and then she starts having visions. So Kylo Ren is this like the whiny emo leader of the First Order.
Is that Ryan Johnson guy?
No, that's Adam Driver.
Oh.
Ryan Johnson's is the director.
Oh, he was the director?
Yes.
Oh, he looked like an actor.
Yeah, he's awful. Adam Driver is Kylo Ren.
All right, then.
And so they start having these connected visions where they see each other, and Rey hates him because he killed Han Solo and is evil and has killed a lot of people and tortured her. And then she sees him topless, and then she's in love with him and forgives him and wants to turn him good again.
She didn't even get to see the bottom half?
No, just the top. Yeah, which was shot in some weird aspect ratio that makes him look super wide. So
he's thick.
He's thick.
Like Thanos.
Exactly.
Thanos thick?
Like, not quite that thick.
All right.
But
Thanos was thick.
Thanos was thick. Me like it. So she decides, fuck this Luke guy, I'm gonna go get Kylo Ren. And goes off to meet Kylo Ren.
Size does matter.
There you go. So she goes to meet Kylo Ren, and turns out the whole time it was just Snoke. He's the evil overlord guy. It was his master diabolical plan to try to turn Rey to the dark side, since she's super powerful for no reason. But Kylo kills Snoke in defense of her, and is like, come away with me, you and I will rule the galaxy together. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna go back to the Resistance. So he's like, wine, I'm gonna destroy the Resistance.
So was this the A plot?
No, this is the B plot.
Okay.
I think the A plot is the two ships.
Yeah. The
A plot is
it's a slow motion chase through space.
Yep. Basically.
Oh, fuck, this isn't even worth bootlegging. Alright.
So then we have the C plot. So you have this pilot. So Princess Leia is in a coma for most of this movie. What a waste of Carrie Fisher's last, great performance. So Admiral Holdo, who's played by Laura Dern with purple hair, is now in charge. And Poe is the Maverick flyboy pilot who's been demoted because he's still a ranking officer, but he's been demoted because of some heroics at the beginning of the movie that got some people killed but also saved all their lives. So he and her are at odds because he's like, tell me the plan, what are we going to actually do? And she's like, nah, and she won't tell him anything. So you've served in the military. So out of curiosity, is that a normal thing? Like, in what situation would your top ranking officer just keep everyone else in the dark about what the plan is when your life is on the line?
I feel like Trump do that every day.
Okay, but in the actual military, is that like a good practice?
I don't know. I wasn't intelligence. I was just engineering, so.
Fair. So anyway, who knows? Whatever it is. She won't tell him the plan, so he decides, because he's the Maverick flyboy, to go off and make a plan on his own. So he sends the Asian girl and the black guy off to get some codes to sneak onto the enemy ship to disable their hyperspace tracking device, I believe.
Now, is John Boyega in this one? Is he
yes,
the black guy?
he's the black guy.
Now, what kind of accent does he have in this movie?
He has an American accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
No idea.
Okay. He's British. Like,
yeah.
What? Okay.
Everyone else gets a British accent.
But the black British guy gets an American accent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So they go off. So he and the chubby Asian mechanic go off to the casino planet, where we have very on-the-nose discussions about the top 1% and how evil they are.
Okay. Now, put the things up. So, everybody we talking about now on this one, right?
Yeah.
So, they don't have a lot of gas, but they got jump ships, so motherfuckers can go to other planets and go do other shit.
This little guy.
So, how many people are supposed to be on this ship?
Lots. Hundreds, thousands.
Oh, really?
Probably.
Okay, I was about to say, because if it was like 5 people, why didn't they just get in the jump ship and roll the fuck out?
Well, we'll get there.
Right.
Don't worry, we'll get there. So Yeah, so so they're off on this casino planet talking about how the top 1% is evil and looking for the code breaker to get them the codes. They need to sneak onto the ship, etc. Meanwhile, they go free the horses because there's like these horse creatures that are that are treated inhumanely and used for betting on races and stuff like real horses. And they go free the horses because they do. And then take off with the codebreaker guy who ends up double dealing them. So they get onto the ship and then they get betrayed, and then somehow they end up back on the main ship, I think, or they end up on the planet. I don't even remember how they get to where they're going next. But anyway, their whole story basically leads to nowhere. They got nowhere. They did not accomplish anything. They did not save the resistance. They did not essentially do anything. They went off on this long journey, freed the horses that probably all just got rounded up and killed. And they're back. They just end up back with everyone else eventually. So that happens.
Did the director write this too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's so sensitive. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, turns out the plan all along was to get close enough to this other planet that they could take all of their escape ships and escape to the planet. But they waited a really long time to do this. Now that was the one thing, is the Codebreaker guy sold that out. So now all of these ships are getting shot down on their way to this planet. And then so Laura Dern waits until almost all of them are destroyed to take her ship, which is apparently something they could have done the whole time. Turn it around, use the last of the fuel to hyperspace it through the other ship and destroy it.
Gotta love that 0 hour thinking.
Yep.
And so what was the running time of this movie?
2.5 hours, and it's not done yet.
There's a to be continued?
No, there's more. The movie's just not done. We're at like the probably 2:10 mark. There's like 20 more minutes here. So we all end up on this planet that looks like this ice planet like Hoth that was in the originals, but it's actually made of salt, just so that dramatically when these things fly over the ground and dig up the salt, there's red lines, because that looks really dramatic, so it's white and red. Because, it's super visually intelligent and meaningful and symbolic.
Just sounds like menstruation.
So, the Resistance is trapped in this little thing with these cute little ice foxes that are only purpose is to be sparkly and cool. And the First Order comes down with all their shit, and then Luke Skywalker shows up out of nowhere. He's just like, I'm here now.
How many hands he got when he show up?
Both of them.
Huh.
One of them's a robot arm, but it's not
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so he goes out and faces the Resistance and all this zippy yippy yay stuff. But it turns out that he was a hologram all along and just force projecting himself to give the others a chance to escape.
That's a boss move.
Yep. So after all of that boss ass, like, I was never here, you can't kill me. You see him back on his planet, and he just poofs. He just disappears into the forest.
So, what does the magical white woman do?
Oh, she lifts rocks. So
Okay.
the First Order, the Resistance is about to escape through the back of the cave, but then this big collapse of rocks happens, and she shows up, and she lifts the rocks and saves them all. Except now they can all just fit on this little ship.
One of them Olsen girls does that in all the little Iron Man type movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
She tiny like her too?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that's the movie.
Dislike. Was the CGI at least good?
It was alright. It's pretty good.
Sound design?
Yeah, good sound design.
Visually stunning?
More or less.
Well, I guess that's what their prerequisites are these days.
Apparently, if you ask Rian Johnson, it was probably the greatest movie ever made.
Well, box office numbers don't lie.
You know what happened to the box office after the opening weekend? So, big opening weekend, right? A lot of hype, everyone excited. A lot of people liked The Force Awakens, which was the one before it. Next weekend?
So that's why he's blocking all y'all on Twitter?
Mm-hmm. He mad. Alright, so, not seeing this movie ever?
Nah, not even if I'm like laid up in the hospital and I just had like all 3 of my fucking fibroids removed and I had no choice but to watch this movie. No.
Amen. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. If you're not part of my Patreon community, do it. There's a new tier now. For a certain amount of dollars a month, you can now request that I serenade you with a song. I'm also putting up a lot of just free fun content for you guys. Check me out on Geeks and Gamers. If you guys like Tiana, let me know. She's got a lot of ideas. I think she'd be great for my Meant to Offend series. So if you want to see more of Tiana, please let me know. And we'll catch you next time.